Greetings viewers, welcome back to Phasmophobia for another weekly challenge. This time it's vulnerable. Without further ado, let's hop in and see what the devs have in store for us. One thing I didn't notice in my Easter video, I'll probably include it in this one, but after you complete the Easter event this year, I'm not sure if it's after you actually complete the whole thing or just after doing the the rituals on the 5 maps before you go and meet the actual forest spirit. But it does this kind of like the tree gains a glow that is, you know, I guess reminiscent of like weeping willow leaves, and you get fireflies, which is quite lovely. Anyway, I'll probably include that in this video, and on to the rest of the video. Okay, so here we are at Willow Street House. We have 100% sanity. Looks like we do have the breaker, maybe. Andrew Knight. We have all tier 1, and of course no smudge sticks. No, we have to have candles, so you can kind of protect your sanity a little bit. I don't think I'll bother. I really wish this didn't even exist, but you know, we got what we got. Yeah, all tier 1s, so let's go in. Alrighty, so we found ourselves a ghost. Are you in here? It's more likely to be in here. Yeah, it's in here. Just checking for hiding places. I haven't seen any yet, so we might not have any of those. Just trying to remember, was vulnerable the one that was bugged last time? I think it was. As in, like, yes, it definitely was. It was bugged. So last time it gave us no reward. Like, it like wouldn't actually complete, and I think they fixed it like on the very last day, like would have been at night time for me, in the middle of the night, so I couldn't actually complete it. And what else? We had all the items, so and we had it was like normal. It was hiding places still existed. It was like normal professional mode. It was like completely bugged, so that hiding place is not there. Up there. So it looks like they have changed that as well. Let's just double check downstairs. So not there. And this is what I expected. I kind of and I think when I did the video, I think I said that I expected there to be less or no hiding places, and for there to be no smudge sticks or crucifix, because again, I couldn't actually do the challenge because it was just like normal professional, but with all the items. But now it looks like they fixed it. Where are you? Are you here? Are you close? Where are you? Are you here? Are you close? Where are you? Are you here? Are you close? Where are you? Are you here? Are you close? Where are you? That kind of scared me a bit. I didn't think he'd be that close. It was mostly because normally you don't get to see it with the lights on, but I basically hit the switch at the exact same moment he did the ghost event. And that's what kind of shocked me. Now we have these special extra Easter dots, so let's dots this room right up. Easter event dots. Now he's not a crawly ghost, so these actually probably aren't as important, to be honest, so let's actually put them up high. It'll probably be better. The main reason that you want to think about putting them on the ground like those ones that I did is for crawling ghosts. I didn't turn that one on. Because crawling ghosts can be a bit annoying. Actually, probably should really put them on right on the edge so that part of the beams aren't cut off. I don't know. That's a lot of dots. Alrighty. Let's see. One thing I was going to say is last week I had problems with my sound. What it was actually my keybind to my mouse was reset for some weird reason. I don't know why. So if I used my keyboard, it actually would have been fine. But I was trying to use my mouse. Where are you, ghost? Are you here? Are you doing anything? You're not here anymore. Just after I set all that up, you bugger. Where'd you move to? Depending on how long ago it moved, like my thermometer might be going up regardless of where we stand. So let's get a bit warmer. Looks like it's not in here. You sure you're not in here? How'd you leave? Like how's the temperature going up? Okay, you're in here. No, I didn't check for if we have any cursed possessions. I should have grabbed my UV too. Are you in here? Are you a teleporting ghost? I should have dropped that there. Have you been in there the whole time? Maybe. You are a finger ghost. I think you also... Yep. Probably a bit too late, yeah. Yep, alright, we got UV. You're a banshee, maybe. Where are you? Are you here? Are you close? Where are you? Where are you? Are you here? Are you close? Where are you? Are you here? Are you close? Where are you? Are you here? Doesn't really seem to be that. But then again, that's really trash, though. It seems less and less likely that it's an obake. It's probably gonna be a phantom, and I probably should have had a camera in here the entire time. No, I didn't see any orbs. Oh yes, there's orbs. Okay. Banshee. What's Banshee, isn't it? No, it's not. Nope. It is dots. So the reason I immediately started to think Banshee was the fact that it was doing so much outside of its ghost room, seemingly. Like it was doing stuff in the kitchen that I originally thought the kitchen was actually the ghost room, but it was not. In fact, I think this has probably always been the ghost room. Hasn't been doing a huge number of singing ghost events though, admittedly. Where are you? Are you here? Are you close? Where are you? It's a normal 3. Where are you? Are you close? Where are you? Are you here? Are you close? Where are you? Are you here? Are you close? So my advice with this is generally try and keep the lights on, if you can, with the vulnerable. Let's have a look. I'm just going to quickly check for cursed possessions. So one thing that is, I'm trying to just save my sanity a little bit. One thing that is concerning me about, you know, not being a banshee is that it hasn't done a lot of singing ghost events. But then again, it hasn't. Oh yeah, it's not. It's not here. I can't remember where the video doll is on this map. That's strange. How come I can't remember? Is it normally in here? Yeah, this is very odd for a banshee. So look at our sanity. How are we going with sanity management? So we're about to be hunted. We're very, very close to being hunted. These other ones are just not really going to help us. Unless it's a mimic and it just won't give a spirit box because it's being mean. Although a mimic, I can also just check the temperature quickly in that room. Ah. Yeah. So this is a reasonably small map, so it is reasonably possible that, you know, it was able to teleport here at the ghost event. I'm going to guess it's a Hantu. But let's drop sanity and then we'll listen to it. Obviously you don't have to do this step really. I mean, I have a feeling... maybe you've moved rooms now, have you? So I'm going to use kitchen counter. But the reason I'm not standing over there is in case it does a ghost event before it hunts. Oi, ghost, where are you? Oi, I'm surprised you didn't turn the breaker off. Where'd you go? Hantu! Where are you? Oi, Hantu! Come out here. Literally went into the other non-cold room. Alright, well that was a Hantu. You could hear that it's very fast in its ghost room and very slow everywhere else. So that's definitely a Hantu. The reason I did the hunt, even though it took forever because it just wouldn't hunt me, was because I was concerned that it was... Maybe I wasn't quite low enough. I was concerned it was a mimic. Because tier 1 spirit box can be really hard to get sometimes. So it coming to me was just simply because of the range of ghost events. That can throw you off on small maps. Particularly when you're in a central location, like the kitchen is quite central to the front, to the top level of Willow, so ghosts can often teleport from a lot of rooms if you happen to be in just the right spot. Alright, on to the next one. Okay. Now, I didn't check to see if this was actually completing this time, but considering they fixed everything else up, I'm assuming everything else was completing. Whoa, a little bit laggy. Now, I'm not sure if it actually was in that... Like, it did reduce the temperature of that room a lot from coming in every single ghost event, so maybe it actually did change rooms. Maybe. Maybe not. Who we got? Richard Dyer. Not that it gives a bit of flavour. It doesn't really change gameplay very much, the names. A lot of people think you need to say the names a lot, but that's not really... All it does is increase the chance, well, depending on which dev you talk to, it either gives a guaranteed response from the spirit box if the ghost is in range and if the ghost is in the same room as you when you ask it the question next, immediately after it, or it increases the chance of it giving a spirit box response. I usually even forget about it because it doesn't seem to work very well. Nothing seems to be happening down. Hang on. Was it cold in here? It was cold out here. It's cold out here. Nothing's happening though. You hear Richard Dyer again doesn't really do much. Recognized phrases do essentially the same thing. Sometimes it'll also just recognize random things. I'm actually going to open these now because I'm pretty sure it is in here. Because the temperature should be going up, not down. Going to bring our Easter goodies in first. I don't know where the best is, to be honest, with these things. The best is actually to hold it, but I hate holding, so... You haven't touched these, have you? Are you going to give us a sign? You a shade? Maybe. Unfortunately for us, this is probably the worst room on this map. In all honesty. Ooh. I heard that. What was it? Where was it? Where was it? Nice. Nice. Just a normal UV. And a normal touch. Yeah, because it's quite large, this room. I'm assuming you're not in there, right? Let's just double check. So, to actually do this challenge, I recommend you try and keep the lights on in the rooms you're in, if you're worried about your sanity drain. Because you don't have protection items, you're keeping your sanity up will avoid hunts, and by avoiding hunts, keep you safe, basically. Eventually you may want hunts though, so maybe, you know, be a bit, it's up to you on how confident you are with hunts. Where are you? Are you here? Where are you? Are you close? Where are you? Are you here? Where are you? Are you close? Where are you? Are you here? Where are you? What's your name again? Richard Dyer, where are you? Richard Dyer, how old are you? Richard Dyer, are you French? Richard Dyer, are you friendly? Richard Dyer, where are you? Turn that goddamn noise off. Where did I drop it? It's just a 4. And the light back on. It can't be an Oni anyway. Alright. Turn this off again just for this. It's also kind of an annoying room to get dots and the orb because of its shape. Pretty sure the orb can be in any part of this room. Obviously, setting up a camera, look, if you want to check dots in the truck, it's a pain in the ass. So check our sanity. Alright, we are at 40%. That could be EMF 5 there. This particular one here. Which would point to what I'm thinking. So, what I'm thinking is my sanity dropped way faster than I thought. I mean, I was being pretty loose with sanity protection, but not that loose, right? Which would make me believe potentially we're dealing with a djinn here. Although, did you just write in this? No, you did not write in that, so it's probably not writing. Are you freezing? Yes, you are freezing. I would say this is very likely a djinn, and why I was a bit like, is it testing djinn? It's going to be a little hard. Why did you flicker the lights here? Because I'm going to speed him up as he goes, as he comes, which is not ideal, but you know, it is what it is. Staying down there and trying to get EMF is probably going to be more dangerous than checking with a hunt, though. So yeah, it could also be a mimic still, but then it refused to give me spirit box, which is not unheard of. Why are you not hunting? I should be over here. No, I'll go over here. Oh, that was silly of me. I'm dead. Oh, no. I think maybe I heard the djinn there. This is like barely enough distance. He'll only do it for like half a second. He'll do faster steps, so it's a bit hard. But I think that was the case, and it was speeding up like normal, which again we expect. We have these two evidences. The draining of my sanity, I think, was really the key. It still could be these. It definitely is not this. It still could be Mimic, though. There you go, it was a djinn. So it had likely used its ability on me. Let's have a look. Ability's used 1. That drops your sanity by 20%. And it leaves an EMF reading on the breaker, but that's obviously upstairs. Very hard to read that when you're down in the basement. But yeah, it drops the sanity. I think it might be of everyone around it, or maybe it's a single person, I'm not sure. And that's why I was like, wow, my sanity dropped a lot faster than I thought. Because 20% is a huge sanity drain. Anyway, on to the next one. So another thing to mention about the djinn, of course, as always, you've probably heard it 1,000 times, but the breaker needs to be not broken and on for it to use its abilities, otherwise it cannot use any of its abilities. That's a very important thing about the breaker, and it will not turn the breaker off. It can blow the breaker by turning on too many lights, but it can never turn it off. But without that. And you can always tell if the breaker's been blown by too many lights being on. Oh, it didn't hit me. You can always tell if it's blowing the breaker by having too many lights on. Because when you turn the breaker back on, the lights will all be off to stop you from blowing it again. I think it vibrated this phone. So you've got in here again? No. Even the entrance. No. Are you in here? The room that you just blew the light in? Yes. Yes, you are. So this is one of the more difficult circumstances, right? If you're concerned about being hunted, when the ghost destroys the lights, it obviously becomes much more difficult to keep your sanity high. You're being nice and active, although the activity seems high in general. Where'd the painting go? It fell onto the floor and then just phased into non-existence. But okay. We have a standing ghost again. We've been lucky with that because the little girl or the crawling woman can be a real pain. Crawling little girl's the worst. Let's keep going. Although I will say I do kind of have a different opinion to a lot of players on the little girl and the woman model, in that I quite like that they exist, that they're difficult. Yes, it is kind of annoying, but I kind of like that. It's kind of like how I like the shade being kind of annoying, just because it's a bit slow, you know, a bit inactive. You know, it's got character, so I kind of like that with the little girl. But yeah, but clearly the little girl and the crawling woman are the most difficult. What the hell's going on here? Okay. changing favorite rooms must be on then. It's good in a way. Can be good anyway. Yeah, they can be. So I've actually like been in this room trying to do it with these, and I've missed the girl because you only get if you put them up here and the girl walks past here, you just get the top of her head. I mean it's really hunts though is where they're especially dangerous. The little girl and the crawling ghost because you can't see them easily behind kitchen tops and counters. So when you're looping them, hiding from them, they are much more difficult to see than a ghost that's standing up and is tall. Okay, you cannot be a djinn. Is that in here? Yes, it was. See how the light was still on? Actually, I don't know if I'll be quick enough for this. I might be. I think that... Does that actually leave a fingerprint? I'm not sure. It's a ghost event. Ghost events can still give EMF 5 at their source though. It's fast. Very fast. I'd say it's there. Where the fuck? Where did you start that hunt though, dude? Over there somewhere. It's almost certainly a thing. Are you not in this room? No, you're not in this room. Fuck me. How often are you changing rooms? Where the fuck are you? I don't know. I don't know. It probably is roaming a lot though. I think they tend to do that. Let's check our sanity. Oh, you bastard. That's really bad. Have to use our ears here. Should have been quicker getting out. I think it's in one of those rooms back there. How? Maybe it was just doing so many ghost events. It kept coming in here and fooling me. Because when it does those ghost events, it actually relocate it, right? When it's relocated, it does drop the temperature of the rooms, right? Whilst it's in the rooms. So you'll see that in the moment you go, oh yes, it's cooling down. But that just means the ghost was there for a little bit, right? So probably, I mean, looking, my sanity is very high. There's no electronics up that end of the house. So it really, this is the only option. Yeah, because Raiju would require electronics to be nearby, and Moroi would require much lower sanity. It also can't hunt at that, can only hunt at 50%. And I didn't check your name, Robert Wright. And what else? There's a number of other Ahantu. The whole house has to be cold. It can't be Jinn, by the way, as I mentioned. So yeah, it was probably actually in one of the far rooms the entire time, and it just kept wandering a lot and then doing ghost events. And that's what made me think that it was in this area, but it's probably actually back there the entire time. I'm lucky it didn't. Lucky it did a ghost ball then hunted me rather than doing a physical manifestation then hunting me, because I probably would have died. Thays are very scary until you age them. There you go. And they're aged by being near them. By being in close proximity to them, they age. It looks like it is fixed. Look, it was teething track, which is nice. I wasn't doing that for no reason. So vulnerable does appear to be fixed this time. I think it was vulnerable. It was bugged. I think it's a pretty good mission. It's a very good mission to teach people, and this is what I think I like a lot about these weekly challenges to try and teach people how to play differently than they normally would, right? So in this case, it teaches you how to play, and this is a perfect map, absolute perfect map for this one. Sometimes I'm critical of the choice of map, but for playing without hiding spots and without protection items, Willow is probably the #1 map. The next best map is probably, is Tanglewood. And the reason is that Willow has 3 places where you can loop the ghost. I think it's the only one that has 3 places where you can safely loop the ghost. It has the 2 best ones and one that's not as good, but if you're desperate, you can use it. And that is around the car, around the kitchen bench, which is probably the best one, but it's it depends on where you are and where the ghost is, of course. And if you're stuck in the basement, the right room around the shelves in the center, you can loop the ghost around there. Usually you only loop it once to get it to basically get the ghost to walk to the back of the room, and then you run out. Yeah, you can also just hide there too and just keep, turn everything off and just keep going back and forth. So there's lots of places that are quite safe in Willow too. But yeah, around that car, around the kitchen table, and if you're desperate, downstairs, you can loop in that. You can at least hide/loop, and you can use those looping places as hiding places. It's better if you're good at using the stereo audio, knowing which way the ghost is running. If you get good at that, you can basically hide behind them and safely hide the entire time. Even if it starts walking around the looping spot, you just walk around the other way, keeping it always on the opposite side. It never has to see you, and it's quite safe. And that makes Willow like the perfect map for teaching people how to survive without hiding places and without protection items. And that's why I also don't forget which one it is. Is it Sanity Survival? It's one of them. I think it might be Sanity Survival, where it's nightmare difficulty on a map that's one of the more difficult maps to do nightmare on, but you also get no protection items, and I think the breaker's broken. So the reason that I'm not a huge fan of that one is that most people don't play. I feel like the nightmare, it's a combination something like that. And I feel like that most people don't, we know from the devs themselves, most people do not play on nightmare. So that's going to be a new experience for most people anyway. Tacking the rest of it on is a bit too much, especially a map that isn't really that good for it. No protection items, so doing hunt tests is way more dangerous, particularly on that map. Again, this is a very hard map to do yokai tests on. It's Ridgeview. Very hard to do yokai tests. Now you can get around that by testing for the other ghosts and rolling them out and stuff. Like there are, but the thing is that I do like there being hard ones, and I also like there being challenges that are fun, and I like there being challenges that help teach players how to play the game in different ways. And I feel that one doesn't actually do that. So it doesn't teach people how to play Nightmare, for example, because that's not normally how you would play a Nightmare game. It doesn't teach people how to play when your sanity is constantly being drained, because you're struggling with the fact that you have to do all the tests for Nightmare at the same time. It's kind of like two ideas smashed together that doesn't make it hard enough for like the hardcore players to really enjoy it, but it also makes it very unenjoyable and difficult, and it doesn't really teach players that are intermediate level. Whereas I feel this one is perfect in that regard. It's easy for people who really know what they're doing, but for people who aren't as confident, it is perfect for teaching them how to play in a different way. Like, honestly, a weekly challenge that is basically just Nightmare is a challenge for the majority of the player base. Because like I said, most people play either intermediate or professional. Nightmare is already a jump up for them. So yeah, there's a couple that I think could be tweaked. Could be like that one could be split apart. Could be split into two separate challenges. I forget the name. It could be Sanity Survival. I think it might be, but I could be wrong. Yeah, especially it's mostly the fact that the Nightmare difficulty of that one just doesn't really make sense why it's tagged on there. It makes it way too difficult for novices, and it doesn't allow them to learn the difficulty, because I guess that's the big money tag at the end is what incentivizes people to try the more difficult ones, because otherwise people are just not going to even try to do the more difficult challenge modes, the majority of people, because it's not worth it. And I mean, like, the apocalypse draws near, it's questionable whether it's even close to worth it. That one and survival of the fittest, right? Because if you actually just put if you actually just made a custom difficulty with the settings of those two and went in, you would probably get more than 5,000 out of 3 games. So those are for like the top 10% of players to challenge themselves. And I love that. I do love that. It's great. But you definitely don't want too many challenges catered for the top 10% of players. I love those challenges. They are probably my favorites out of all of them, even though, again, it's probably not worth it. Literally just going in and playing with those settings in custom would probably be more worth it. But I do like that they're curated challenge modes, and it makes me go in and do them, which is fun. And I should actually do some Apocalypse sometime soon too. Some actual proper Apocalypse. Apocalypse, I got a bit of a love-hate relationship with Apocalypse. I like the Apocalypse draws near settings a lot better. I think I've explained this before, that reducing the player's speed and stopping them from being able to sprint, it reduces an element of skill. It actually takes away, effectively, it takes away mechanics that players can utilize to improve their survival odds, their odds of survival. And by taking away mechanics that the players can use, it essentially also removes an element of skill from the game. Because a skilled player would be able to survive, whereas an unskilled player, often like myself, I think I'm about average when it comes to skill. When it comes to knowledge, I'm very high. When it comes to skill, I'm probably about average. Those players will just die, right? Whereas your most skilled players would possibly be able to pull off a survival. That a lot of those opportunities are removed when you slow the player down and when you remove their ability to sprint. And what this often incentivizes, and you can see this if you ever watch some of these really insanely good players doing Apocalypse, you can actually see it. They stop taking risks. Like, they would normally, if you see them playing a normal game versus an Apocalypse game, they would be taking risks all the time, because it often pays off for them, because they have the skill to actually pull off crazy close calls. You see them play Apocalypse, there's a lot of standing still, a lot of waiting. They still do some pretty incredible stuff, but they just simply cannot take the risks that they normally would. And this is it's less fun. it shows, like, again, they're unable to show their skill, unable to utilize a lot of their skill. And I think it's honestly not a good thing. But, you know, again, it's meant to be the most difficult mode in the game, right? I just think that the Apocalypse Draws Near actually would probably be a better mode going forward if they did anything like that for awards. They actually should make the Apocalypse, like the Apocalypse Draws Near into a setting, an actual, with like insanity, nightmare, and that. And if they introduce other difficult maps and they want to give trophies out or give achievements out, whatever, use that settings instead, where the ghost is super deadly, there's no hiding places, all that. That's all fine. It's the sprint nerf and the movement nerf that really is the killer to skill-based play, in my opinion, with Apocalypse. And where it starts to come down to luck a lot more. Like a lot more. Like I think I forget. I don't think I died the last time I did Apocalypse Draws Near. The first time I did Apocalypse Draws Near, I died tons of times. You should be able to see that. And I think the second time, I think I got all the ghosts fine. But it does depend on the ghosts you get, right? Some are just near impossible. But even then, like the most skilled players, they will generally die a couple of times before they get the ghost. They usually won't walk in first time and get it. And that's the weekly for this week. Hope you enjoyed it. This will be a few weeks late, as a lot of them have recently. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, dose makes the poison.